Originally, this was one long cabinet with a cabinet in the center. This was my first miter saw station, and this was in the basement when I used to have the shop in the basement. When the kids came along, I fixed up the barn and moved the shop out here. This cabinet remained for a few years. I ended up cutting the center cabinet out, put the two cabinets together like you saw, and it became an arts and crafts table. So now the plan is to take this cabinet, I'll spin it, so I have drawer storage on this side of the Outfeed table, do the same thing with this one, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this space in the center. Obviously it's a lot of good storage space. I'm just going to get started by freshening up these cabinets with a little bit of sanding and a new paint job. Before I paint the cabinets, I just realized that I need to trim the cabinet by about 1/4 of an inch. What I want to do for the top of the Outfeed table this time is have a piece of 3/4 inch birch plywood, and then on top of that I'll use a piece of 1/2 inch MDF with the idea that as the work surface gets used and gets glue on it and holes drilled in it, I can maybe flip it over or just use a new piece of MDF. So I'm going to get started right now by trimming this cabinet by 1/4 of an inch. Then I'll have to do the same thing to this cabinet, and then I can start painting them. I finished sanding all of the cabinets yesterday and the drawers, and now I'm priming everything with an acrylic primer. The reason why the primer is gray is because it's primer that was left over from when I painted my sunroom. And I like to start with the drawers. By the time I finish all the drawers and the last cabinet, the first drawer that I primed will be dry, and then I can start to sand it and then start to apply the finish coat, which will be the same color green as the rest of the cabinets in the shop. The measurement from the edge of the base to the edge of the bit is 2.5 inches, so I'll measure from the line 2.5 inches and clamp a straight edge as a guide. I've made the channel 7/8 of an inch, so it's not too tight, and my router bit is only 3/4 of an inch, so I'll need to do the same thing on this side of the line to remove the remaining 1/8 of an inch. I'm attaching the 1/2 inch MDF to the 3/4 inch plywood flush in the back where it's going to meet the table saw. And I've got about 1/4 inch overhang on the other 3 sides, and I'll clean that up with a flush cut bit in the router. Next, I'm going to use a small roundover bit to soften the table's edge. After I rounded over the top with the router, I lightly sanded the top, really just getting rid of any of the pencil marks, and then I finished the top with 3 coats of water-based polyurethane, sanding in between coats with 220 sandpaper, and I haven't attached the top to the cabinet yet or the cabinets to the floor because I'm not quite sure how I want to live with this yet. Obviously, I've got a lot of space here. I might want to build a cabinet for that space. I might want to store this old Makita thickness planer in that space. I have space between the cabinets and the cabinet of the table saw. So there's still a few things I want to think about. So sometimes it's good to just live with something and let that project evolve. So that's what I'm going to do. I am really looking forward to working now with the new Outfeed table. It's just nice to have a nice clean surface, and it's great to have 8 more drawers of storage space. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.